is it your experience that you find that people, like working normal sort of people, are really that supportive and nice to each other? I mean, a lot of the times you go to work and people are backstabbing each other. You know, having to go at their bosses having to go at their employees. People being a bit rough in cars, you know, to other motorists and pedestrians, and the list goes on and on. And there's a reality that you're more likely to have information you share about what you need help with to be used against you than to be used in support. I mean, the old term, no good deed goes unpunished, it doesn't exist because it's poetic and sounds lovely. It exists because it is often the facts. And maybe that's the best way for your day-to-day dealings with. I mean, on a mining site, it's a career move to stab someone in the back. Shows you got your priorities right. But can our distrust be kept? Can the working class continue to distrust each other and not particularly like a lot of themselves in other forms of the other members of the working class, and yet join something big that unites the working class without freaking people out at a grassroots level, where it's often best to be distrustful and keep things to yourself and don't look for help because it's not coming, and all of that sort of business, you know. Feather your own nest, look after your own family. Don't go trying to help anyone else. You'll bring a lot of heat on yourself, I tell you. But you know, maybe that's the way to be. But why keep getting pushed around as a society? Because us working class type normal people that have all these troubles uniting, but all of us sort of people sort of loosely do agree on a fair few subjects, like not being spied upon, not having world wars, you know, put some lid on this global metabolic health problem where our kids are dramatically now got shorter lifestyles and quality of life, and you know, it's terrible what's going on. Obesity. Remember, Eisenhower got a heart attack at 1954 and everyone freaked out. It's like, what? And he was like a pack-a-day smoker, not that they sort of knew. But then it was like, what do you mean a heart attack? What does that mean? How do you spell it? These days, all too well we know. When, you know, society doesn't need people telling you what you can and can't do, but it does need a little bit more sense than these smoking industry type people in the food industry just not caring about people's health, giving them things and calling it food when it's not food, you know, or other things that, you know, consumer power could affect, but only if there was some unity. Alas. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a rant, and it's not. I mean, I'm part of society and realise that, you know, to be supported and whatnot, you know, people have only really got the ability to do that at their micro level, just about, you know, and family level could go beyond micro, because you're a big family. Some people have a hell of a lot of family friends. They might run sporting clubs, all sorts of things, so their circle of influence and circle of support is big, and they might do a heap of stuff, but that doesn't mean that they've been able to live in a society where a phone doesn't spy on you, or a company could just get rid of you, or, you know, make life hard, or doesn't try to make its products that are user friendly. Like, for instance, you know, people that sell these screens, you know, we have a lot of things that have screens. It's not biologically healthy for us. It's a type of technology that they went with for their purposes, but it biologically interrupts us. And, you know, with so many humans looking at screens and at night and all that, you'd think that they should be forced to make us have a, you know, like those paper screens and that Kindles have, and different types of screens that aren't gonna just really soup up how bad, say, that gaming screen is that kid's watching all through the friggin' night. You know, try to at least make it, at least there, from what they're part of what they're doing, into bad. But as consumers, we need to band together and make them do stuff like that. Look, the consumer power subject conversation starter by Lobster Mobility, by me, Cairns Lobster. It's just a conversation starter is what it's meant to be. It's not an authority on the subject. It's not. Don't worry, I'm going to be looking into what are the big lobby groups. I am interested in that subject. I am interested in becoming a link to some of the bigger and more important and more effective organisations that the working class can sort of have some information on how to participate in, because maybe that's really the key. The working class don't need to form up these groups and then walk to the town hall waving banners and stuff. They just need to form up with these big organisations or linking organisations or people like Dr. Sean O'Mara. Link up on your way to the top where Bill Gates and Bezos are buying farmland, where Monsanto calls itself Bayer and wipes its hands off glyphosate, where China makes terrible food in general, where small farmers are getting pushed out. Well, you know, another linking force is RFK, because RFK is trying to get smaller farmers back involved. He's discussing giving certain farmers off-ramps so they can get out of harmful products into better products. With cancer, I support the Hippocrates Research Foundation. That's my link up to Dr. Thomas Seyfried, which is one step past them. And Keto for Cancer, they're really good too. I like the policies of Dr. Sean O'Mara to trying to get a bit of a handle on all of this metabolic stuff. I like Dr. Robert Lustig. I watch carefully who Joe Rogan's talking to and how he's talking to them. And sometimes we'll then just follow that person they interviewed. I'm chasing the lobby groups, the big lobby groups. And we know about pharma, that's that big pharmaceutical lobby group. It's incredibly effective and powerful in killing. But I don't believe that everyone on those boards are bad. And I'd like to see whether or not they can be worked with, and any of the big lobby groups can be worked with. We've got to start somewhere. For me, a lot of people have started before me, but for me, I've got to start somewhere. So I'm looking into these big lobby groups, politicians. I'm very excited and interested in RFK's visions. I really am.